We're now going on to Chapter 3, dealing with graphing. Topic 1. Read this carefully. Now we'll raise it a little bit. And see what you can get for answer 1 and 2. Now we're starting you off easy. This is a bar graph, as you can see. And you see this one was the worst. Then you see Katrina, which you're perhaps familiar with, came in as number 2. So we'll now raise it up. And again, these examples work best if you've seen the other video where I actually present the lesson, where you will be given the lesson on how to do these. So here we have a point, an ordered pair. We're going to plot the x first, which is a -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, a point is supposed to be so small that it has no diameter, but it has to have something if it's going to be a point. And we're going to plot and label each of these ordered pairs. Well, as we do the first one, 0, 0 is the origin. And then here we have 3, 0. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 0. And here we have 0, comma, -4. I guess I'll have to go down a little bit for that. So 0, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then now these others, 2, 6. Again, we start at 0. Then we do our x, which is 2, and then we go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. And then we do -5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, something we mentioned in the lecture that we should probably review. Remember, there are 4 quadrants. The y-axis is the vertical, the horizontal is the x-axis, and this is considered the first quadrant, the second quadrant, the third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. And let's go on. So, what they're asking us here is to find these various points and list the coordinates and to tell what quadrant it's in. Okay, we had a little review of that just now. Let's pause. So, again, A is 2, 1. It's in the first quadrant. -2, 3 in the third quadrant. Notice when they're both negative, it's the third quadrant. Now 11, which is C, is on the x-axis, and this is a -3, 3 in the second quadrant. Now for these we have some equations. This one you may recall is standard form. This one is a special one for a horizontal line. This is in standard form, and this is in standard form. And they're asking us to fill in these empty T-charts. We call these a T-chart because when we initially make them, we make like a T. And then we put our X there and our Y there. And let's fill these in to see what we get. So in filling in the chart, where it says X is 0, so we imagine this is a 7 times 0 is 0. So we have a negative 2 equals 2. So we just reverse the signs. Y equals a negative 2, which is what we have there. Now if Y is 0, we're going to divide both sides by 7, and we get 2 7ths. And if Y is a negative 1, which I put into the equation, that made it a positive 1, that I transpose as a negative 1 on this side. 2 minus 1 is 1. Divide both sides by 7, we get 1/7. Now 14 is a kind of an interesting case where if Y is negative 4, regardless of what you have as X, Y will always be a negative 4. That's kind of a tricky one. And then here, the same thing. If X is 0, a negative Y is 8, so a positive Y is negative 8. And then if Y is 0, X is 8. And then if Y is 6, I put that there, then we just transpose the negative 6 to the other side. Becomes a 14. And here are these two. They go nicely. And then you can't quite see, this one's a negative 3 that I put there. That became a positive 9. Subtract 9 from both sides gives us a 3. For this last one then, X is 3/2. Well here, this is going to be, again, you put the value for X, and then what would Y be? Well, it's going to be if X is 0, Y is 0. And if Y is 0, X is 0. And then these are the other values. Now, when you're doing something like this, by the way, and we'll be doing this, and I mentioned this in my lecture on the other video, when you make a T-chart and you're going for points, that normally the points you would put there would be like a negative 1, a 0, and a positive 1. Well, this would be an exception. So here, I would put a negative 3. I would put the 0 always, and I would put a positive 3. You might say, why? Well, because you want to choose terms for X that are multiples of 3, so they would cancel out nicely. So when X is a negative 3, this becomes a negative 1, so this is negative 3. When X is 0, this will just become a negative 2. And when X is a 3, the 3's cancel out. This is a positive 1. Minus 2 gives you a negative 1. And again, that's the exception. Now in number 19, this is a tricky one also. Here they're saying X equals 0. Well, when X is 0, then it's always 0. And I think we somehow got rid of all our other answers, but you can go back and check them out. And our last one, if Y is always 0, then that's the same. This will always be zeros. Let's see if I can get my pen working here. There we go. Now I have a little tablet that I write on. And we'll go on to topic 2. This was just some good practice, not too hard, and 10 minutes.